Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It is Monday, May the 4th be with you. It's May the 4th. National Star Wars Day. It's also National Weather Observers Day, National Renewal Day, National Orange Juice Day, National Candied Orange Peel Day. Big deal for oranges today. It's Bird Day. Happy Bird Day to you. And it's Melanoma Monday. So, not really sure what that means. You don't celebrate melanoma, do you?
Maybe it's the day go get checked to make sure you don't have
it's probably more like a melanoma awareness Monday,
Probably.
something like that. But all of that stuff on May the 4th be with you. It's also a Movie Star Monday, and our movie star today is Natasha Gregson Wagner, and this is Natalie Wood's daughter.
Okay.
And I was reading in here, her name is really Natalie.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Nice.
But they called her Natasha because, well, that was her nickname, but she just goes by Natasha. But we're going to be chatting with her, and then her stepdad, Robert Wagner.
Okay.
And there's a thing on HBO tomorrow. It's a documentary called Natalie Wood, What Remains Behind. That's what we're going to chat about in just a bit. Many people have dabbled in the stock market for their very first time ever this year. If you're new to the market, but you don't want to learn things the hard way and the expensive way, I encourage you to subscribe to this free newsletter. You can get the inside track with Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com. Subscribe for free. If you change your mind, just unsubscribe. Sign up for free right now at marketbeatminute.com. That's marketbeatminute.com. Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. One new survey found that 1 in 8 relationships are, quote, on the rocks because of coronavirus. And I think when they're saying on the rocks, they're talking about day drinking.
More people spending too much time together.
Oh, yeah.
And getting on each other's nerves. And
the whole day drinking thing I was saying, the whole on the rocks joke there is some truth to that. There have been a lot of people who, because they don't have to go to work, they're sitting at home and are like, well, it's 10:30 a.m. Guess I might as well have
time
a beer.
for a beverage.
So that has caused some problems,
Yeah.
and hopefully not with anybody listening. If it has, coming up in a bit, we got Your Brain on Drugs, brought to you by TimeForRehab.com. And I don't know how much busier they have been lately, but again, I got a feeling. So I've got a link to this survey if you want to read all about it. It's in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
Some credit cards have really high rates or big annual fees. Usually, people sign up for these when it's all they qualify for. If that sounds like you, it may be time to get a better credit card. Over time, your situation changes, and you may qualify for a better credit card. Your current card hopes you don't think about it, but our site shows you many options to see if there's a better credit card for you. Check it out for free at bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
This is Your Brain on Drugs, brought to you by TimeForRehab.com. And I've got kind of a short story here today, and this is a classic story from the 1970s. Female author Diane Shah, S-H-A-H, she claims that back in the 1970s, Yankees legend Mickey Mantle was a little bit sauced, and he was hitting on her when she was reporting for the team back in the 70s. And it was a pretty common occurrence, according to her. So Mickey Mantle was hitting on her.
Okay.
So there you go. That's what happens.
That's nice.
Well, I don't know that it's nice. And I wonder, did she tell people about this back then? And it's not like something happened. He was just interested in her.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know all the details. I got a link to the story if you want to read all about it. But I have to admit, I have very few brain on drug stories to choose from.
Yeah, well,
remember,
most people aren't leaving their houses.
Christmas time-ish?
Oh my gosh,
was like
so many.
Yeah, I was like a month behind at any given time because I had so many. But I've got caught up, which I'm really glad to hear, because you'd think that we'd have a lot of stories, and maybe we will soon. But that's what happens when your brain is on drugs. Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. There we go. Hi, how you doing?
Hi.
Cameron Diaz. I was trying to say her name as I was wrapping that up. That's how I got .Cameron. Cameron Diaz says she's now open to returning to her acting career after she walked away back in 2014.
Okay.
So, yeah, she's been out of the acting biz for 6 years, And some folks have known and noticed, but there's other people who are like, oh, yeah, I guess I hadn't realized that. But she made the decision back in 2014 to kind of hang it up and say, I'm not going to do that anymore.
Huh.
Now she's going, for the right project, I'd come back.
It'll
and
be
do that.
interesting to see if she could pick up any gigs after being gone that
Yeah.
long.
I liked her in the movie There's Something About Mary.
Yeah.
So
That was cute.
I think the movie she'd be in now is There's Something About Running Out of Money. And maybe I would do this again.
Yeah.
Kirsten Bell and Dax Shepard. I think those two are adorable.
They are an
She
adorable
shared a
couple.
video of him operating on himself because he didn't want to go to the doctor's office.
Oh,
That's a
jeepers
bad idea.
creepers.
I was trying to convince Heidi to pull a sliver out of me the other day.
no.
She's like, no, I'm not
If
doing
it was
that.
just a typical sliver, I'd be fine with that, but I'm not digging into an open wound.
So I can relate, Dax. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
We're here to make it better.
If you find that drug or alcohol problems are hitting you too close to home, you can get help. Maybe it's time for rehab. Your insurance may even cover everything. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. Get help for a drug or alcohol problem within 24 hours.
We're here to make it better.
Get more information at timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Now your scoop of the day comes your way, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. A growing number of U.S. colleges are suffering huge financial losses while students remain off campus. They say USC is one school that's really suffering $10 million in 1 month alone that they're missing out on.
Yikes.
So that is a big deal. They're probably going to call Lori Loughlin and say, hey, get any more kids that want to go to school?
Yeah, really.
So,
Help us make up the...
Was that the school that her daughter went to?
I have no clue where
I
her
don't
daughter
remember. I shouldn't even say that because I have no clue. An Idaho woman was arrested for violating the stay-at-home order after she held a yard sale, even though there was a stay-at-home order and like, hey, you can't do that. And
She
she's like,
did stay home.
I stayed home. She just encouraged other people not to. She was arrested for having a yard sale, which just sounds weird to me.
Wow.
New research shows people have been mass purchasing plants during this lockdown. So a lot of people have a green thumb right now, which is pretty cool.
I bought quite a few plants.
But we would have bought them no matter what, right?
Would we have bought them yet?
We would have purchased
Would we
them.
have done it yet?
I don't
Probably
know.
not.
Yeah, maybe it's because people have time.
Right.
That's probably why. New Zealand was mocked last year when they elected a millennial as their prime minister. 39-year-old young lady is the prime minister, Jacinda Ardern. But currently, they have the lowest rate of corona infections in any developed country in the world. At the time this story was written, which is like a week ago now, they only had 5 cases.
That's awesome.
As of last Tuesday. World Series of Poker has been postponed until the fall because of coronavirus. New York One anchor Pat Kiernan is offering to officiate Zoom weddings for couples who can't get married because they can't, go out in public and do
Okay.
it. That's kind of a cool
That's
idea.
nice.
But
I wouldn't want to have a Zoom wedding, but that's nice.
would you want to have a news anchor do your wedding?
No. Not even a little.
This just in. Heidi now takes John as her lawfully wedded husband. Bella Hadid recently revealed that she cut her own bangs during quarantines. She was like trimming her own hair. She's a movie star lady. And,
Okay. A movie star lady.
yeah, that's the end of the story, which
right.
really seems like that story is lacking. So we're supposed to care about that. This just in, Bella cut her bangs. And the Wilhelmina modeling agency, according to the story, I don't like the way it's worded, was caught taking $2 million in loans that were meant to help small businesses survive. So I don't understand what that means when it says they were caught. Are they a small business as well?
I don't believe they're a small business. No, it sounds like
I'm sure it is. A small business literally is anybody under 500 employees.
Maybe they have more than that.
Yeah,
I don't know much
So,
about them.
I've got a link to the story if anybody
I
really
haven't
wants
modeled
to.
for years.
Nor have I. One last thing I got to share here because I just think this is funny. Hollywood's most exclusive club right now is online. It's a password-protected Zoom meeting, and it's called Quarantunes.
Okay.
So if you happen to get the password, you can get in there and you can like hobnob with all the hip, cool cats in Hollywood.
No, thank you.
And for some reason,
Totally
I've
fine.
not been invited, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because I say hip, hot dudes in Hollywood. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Monday.
Do you pay too much for insurance? Have you looked around? Or are you too chicken? Don't be afraid to look around to see if you can find a better deal at InsuranceChicken.com. We make it super simple for you to see rates from several different companies, to see what they have to offer, all in one place. Peck out great insurance deals at InsuranceChicken.com. Is it time for you to cross the road? See if we can save you money each month at InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Monday. It's a Movie Star Monday, and our movie star today is Natasha Gregson Wagner. And here's the cool thing. In addition to her being in movies, her mom was in movies, her dad was in movies, and her mother was Natalie Wood. And there's a really cool thing that's going to be on HBO tomorrow. It's called Natalie Wood, What Remains Behind. Natasha, how are you?
I'm great. I'm so happy to be on the show. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, we love the fact that you're chatting with us. Now, tomorrow on HBO, there's going to be this documentary. Tell us a little bit about what people are going to learn as they watch this program.
Well, they're going to learn a lot. I mean, if they don't know who my mom was, they're going to learn about her. And if you're already a fan, it's a much deeper dive into her career, into her life as a woman and a mother and a wife and a friend. We have, home movies that people have never seen, letters that she's written, an article she wrote for Ladies' Home Journal that was never published, interviews with Robert Redford, Mia Farrow, Elliot Gould, George Hamilton, my stepfather Robert Wagner, my sisters. I mean, it's a melting pot of so much.
And the thing that's amazing, the names that you just went through, these are just people in your life, in your mother's life, but everybody listening is like, oh, these are all like super giant stars. What was it like growing up in that universe? Did you even realize how special that was at the time, or did you kind of find that out later?
I didn't really know at the time. My parents both really wanted to give us a very normal childhood, and so though these people came to my house, I didn't really know that they were big stars, and my parents didn't really act like big stars, and my mom didn't wear makeup around the house. My dad was the one that worked, so kind of like my friends, my dad went to work just like all the dads. He came home with makeup on his face, unlike all the other dads. But yeah, we had a pretty normal childhood, lots of animals and lots of cooking and singing and playing games, and it was really a joyful childhood, and that was one of the things I got to revisit and relive as we were making the film.
Now, this film was produced by not just you. There was also another person that was involved, and it's the author of a book that a lot of people have had a chance to read. It's called Natalie Wood, Reflections on a Legendary Life. What was it like working with that author and kind of collaborating with that person? Well,
Manoah Bowman, who co-authored that book, he's a film archivist and knows as much about my mom's career as more than me, and he's the one that introduced me to the director, Laurent Bouzereau, who directed a very, very famous documentary called Five Came Back. So the three of us worked really well together. We had the same vision for the doc, which was to focus on my mom's life, and it was an incredible experience. I was not in the editing room. That I left that to Laurent because I didn't want to color the film in any way. I wanted him. I was sort of the hostess where I brought everyone together, and then Laurent, and gave him all the material, and then Laurent sifted through and chose, what to put in the film.
So if people would like to see this, it's on tomorrow. It's an HBO documentary, so I'm assuming it's on HBO tomorrow. Is that right?
Correct. May 5th, tomorrow, HBO, and it's called Natalie Wood, What Remains Behind.
That is fantastic. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to chat with us, and thanks for putting your heart and soul into this. And also, let's talk a little bit about your career, because you have done some amazing things, too. I'm looking at a list of movies that you've been in, and there's a whole bunch of them. Lost Highway, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Urban Legend, High Fidelity. Someday, who knows, maybe there will be a movie about your life talking about, all of the things that we don't know about you, too. That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I have actually hung up my acting shoes because I became a mom in 2012, and I'm just raising my daughter. But maybe one day I'll get back to it. We'll see.
That is fantastic. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat. And again, for folks that have HBO, tomorrow, Natalie Wood, What Remains Behind. That's the program. And our guest today, Natasha Gregson Wagner. Thank you again for taking the time to visit.
Thank you so much, John. All the best.
And again, I'm going to throw a link to all of this information in the show notes for today at JohnandHeidiShow.com. Many people have dabbled in the stock market for their very first time ever this year. If you're new to the market, but you don't want to learn things the hard way and the expensive way, I encourage you to subscribe to this free newsletter. You can get the inside track with Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at MarketBeatMinute.com. Subscribe for free. If you change your mind, just unsubscribe. Sign up for free right now at MarketBeatMinute.com. That's MarketBeatMinute.com. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
A restaurant in New York employs grandmothers as chefs. They say it's true that everybody thinks their Italian grandma or nana is the best cook around. So it was a genius idea when Joe Scarvella, I probably said that wrong, and I apologize. I don't know how to say your name, Joe. But he decided to gather up as many nanas as he could to work in his restaurant in Staten Island. And it combines the skills of these delightful, talented grandmothers.
We've talked about this before. This is super cute.
Has them create and cook recipes from their own family cookbooks.
Love it.
That is a cool idea.
Yeah.
Now I want to go and try that. Or I could just go to somebody's grandma's house and eat there. That's probably cheaper. Let's do that. This has been today's fun fact. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
Some credit cards have really high rates or big annual fees. Usually, people sign up for these when it's all they qualify for. If that sounds like you, it may be time to get a better credit card. Over time, your situation changes, and you may qualify for a better credit card. Your current card hopes you don't think about it, but our site shows you many options to see if there's a better credit card for you. Check it out for free at bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Now, a news headline from somewhere in this world, Dateline Holland. And you know what I found out? Holland is not a place. It's called the Netherlands. We call it Holland. They don't call it that. Why do we call it Holland if that's not what it's called?
I don't know.
Anyway, Dateline Holland. Newly released footage shows thieves using a sledgehammer to break into a Dutch art gallery and steal a Vincent van Gogh painting.
Oh, jeepers.
Yeah. So I've heard of doorbuster deals, but this is not really.
They weren't even trying to be sneaky about it.
No.
They used sledgehammers?
Well, they were out there busting in. They're like, nobody's out here to catch us, so let's just go do it.
Wow.
Let's take whatever we want. So it was a bad idea. They stole a Vincent van Gogh. It's not like you can just put that on eBay and sell it.
What are you going to do
now?
Appreciate it, maybe. Just hide it in their home.
Bad idea. It's today's news headline from somewhere in this world.
We're here to make it better.
If you find that drug or alcohol problems are hitting you too close to home, you can get help. Maybe it's time for rehab. Your insurance may even cover everything. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. Get help for a drug or alcohol problem within 24 hours.
We're here to make it better.
Get more information at timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Now some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. Florida deputies have a message for citizens. Placing a fake COVID-19 sign on your door will not stop us from kicking it in when you have a felony warrant for your arrest. They have to post that because that's exactly what 28-year-old Joshua Price tried to do. He posted on his door, COVID-19 infected since 4/8/20. Deputies say they properly researched to ensure he was lying about his condition. They showed up with the proper PPE just in case. So they had a way to test him just to make sure. And he was booked into the jail. And by the way, he had no coronavirus at all. He had posted that on his door because he thought, well, if I do that, when they get here, they're going to just turn around and leave. They're going to run scared, those coppers. He was wrong. So A for effort, maybe?
I suppose.
It's just a bizarre story. It was going to be my moment of duh, but at a certain point, I'm like, yeah, it's kind of dumb to do that. But you know what? Maybe it was genius. It just didn't work out. So I had to make it today's weird news.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh, brought to you by InsuranceChicken.com. We head to Minnesota, where a man was arrested after he led Indiana State Police on a high-speed pursuit because he thought they wanted to race.
Right, he did.
So a Minnesota man,
I'm sure he thought they wanted to race.
25-year-old man from Minnesota, Muzlab Alhuzen, was clocked by troopers going 120 miles an hour in a 70 zone. He was in a Mustang, a red Mustang, chased for 25 miles with troopers throwing stop sticks twice before him. And then he finally, that ended the pursuit. He didn't stop because he said, I thought you guys wanted to race.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. Nice try, dude.
So he faces preliminary charges of resisting police arrest, reckless driving, and several other moving violations.
Wow.
And it's not illegal to be stupid. Otherwise, he'd
maybe probably have that charge too.
Because that's just not a smart thing. When you do something like that, you end up right here with today's moment of Da.
Do you pay too much for insurance? Have you looked around? Or are you too chicken? Don't be afraid to look around to see if you can find a better deal at InsuranceChicken.com. We make it super simple for you to see rates from several different companies, to see what they have to offer, all in one place. Peck out great insurance deals at InsuranceChicken.com. Is it time for you to cross the road? See if we can save you money each month at InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Time now for fake news or Florida. At this point in the program, I read a little headline from my page here, and Heidi has to tell me, is this a true story from the great state of Florida, or is it hashtag fake news made up to trick her and amuse me? Are you ready, Heidi?
I am ready.
All right, tell me, fake news or Florida? A Florida woman was arrested for spitting in produce bins at Walmart. Fake news or Florida?
I'm going to say Florida. I've heard. I don't know if it happened in Florida. Or if
it did.
Okay.
This is a true story, and it's a weird one because I got the whole story here. This was going to be my weird news, and I thought, you know what? I think 2 or 3 stories that I had today were from Florida.
This sort of thing isn't something that I understand. I don't know.
This is the weirdest one. This is so bizarre because this lady, Lisette Santos, 40 years old, 40.
Okay.
She faces felony charges of reckless tampering with a product, and here's the weirdest thing. She was booked into the jail, and then U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, filed a detainer seeking the Guatemalan native's expulsion from the country. She's getting kicked out of the country, maybe, over spitting in a bin at Walmart. And it's even weirder because she spit. She took some bites of fruit, lime, I think is what she had. She goes, I don't like it. She spit it in there, and then she had some guava or something. What is that? A piece of guava. She took a bite of that and spit that in a bin as well.
Gross.
So, yeah, you don't do that. It's a bad idea. And if you do, bad idea. But it is today's fake news or Florida. True story from Florida.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with some good news, and I've got some good news. Comes your way courtesy of hashtag gift card challenge. Huge thank you to the thousands of people from sea to shining sea. This is something that started quite a while ago, like a little over a month ago, where people were encouraged to shop local, support local. In itself, it's good news. But we're supporting other good news with giftcardchallenge.org. All of the details can be found there. Here's our good news story for today. Oh, I just clicked the wrong button. And how about this one? Sad news, but good news. Here's a headline. Firefighters dig for 30 minutes to rescue a dog. So the sad news is there was a dog pinned. Firefighters in Connecticut spent 30 minutes digging under a porch to rescue a small dog that became stuck. So it says here, units responded to a call for animal rescue shortly after 11 p.m. They arrived to find a small dog stuck under the porch of a home. He had run under the porch with his leash on and became stuck. They spent about a half hour digging to gain access to free the stuck pup and the leash before finally being able to reunite him back with the homeowners. So it's quite a story here. And there's a photo. You can see the little puppy dog, and he kind of looks, he or she, This little puppy kind of looks like our dogs. We've got 2 dogs,
Okay.
and it's kind of a combo.
Tiny little thing.
Yeah, just a little tiny thing. I'm not sure what kind of dog this is. Let's see if it says in here. I don't see what theirs is. Our dogs are toy poodle crossed with Chihuahua.
Yep.
And then the other one is toy poodle crossed with Maltese.
Yes.
And they have the same little gigolo poodle
Yes,
daddy.
they do.
So they're sisters.
Adorable.
They are. One is 12, one is 13, and we know they're not going to be with us a whole lot longer, and that is so sad. I've got several friends on Facebook who've lost puppies just recently. Every time I see one of those, it chokes me up because I'm like, oh.
Yep,
I know
borrowed
ours.
time. I know it.
Ours are probably not going to be with us a whole lot longer, but I'm so glad that these firefighters rescued this little puppy. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. If you want to see that good news or any of the other stuff I talked about on the program today, you can find it in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.